Good afternoon, Scott Redler, T3 Live. Welcome to today's recap. It is Wednesday, the day before the big ECB news. I think statements get read at 7:30, and then there's a press conference at 8:30. Today there were a few, different types of news releases. When it was 50 billion euros, or I don't know exactly what it was, but over 1 year, it kind of underwhelmed, and the market came off. When it said until 2016, it basically overwhelmed, and that made the market stronger. So I think that's what people are listening for tomorrow. Is it 1 year or 2 years, or is it 1 year and then wait and see? At this point, I don't think anyone really knows, except for the market is exactly at the apex of this right shoulder / wedge formation. So not making it easy if you want to be a bear for a breakdown, because we could break to the upside, and also not really making it easy if you're a bull and not wanting to miss it. Because if you look at the chart right here, you'll see that here we are. We are smack in the middle of what could be the right shoulder of a head and shoulders pattern, right, where the market has wedged. So if we were to break this downtrend, okay, it would probably unleash some kind of round of covering, which is 2046-ish. Okay, and then you have all these different lower highs. So are we going to break this little trend of lower highs to the upside? But if it underwhelms, and you have Europe, that the DAX just rallied 5%, I think in the last week it's at 7-year highs, it's probably priced to come in. And if Europe comes in, chances are we could come in. Today we did get some life in some of the high beta names, so that it kind of gave me more of a neutral to positive feeling versus a neutral to negative. Real quickly, you go to the Qs. Qs is not much different, to be honest. If you look here, you have this one trend line that comes in a little bit higher, and this one is poking its head right there. So with that said, you've come a nice long way since the red dog reversal Friday. If you happen to stay the course on a portion of it, saying I'm going to give it to that area, you have a nice 3-day trade here. Pretty much goes the same for the spiders. We talked about the red dog reversal from Friday. So if you happen to be in it from here still, or you took it off at the end of the day, nice trade. This too is coming right into that trend line. So we're right there. It's so funny how we get right into this inflection point right when an event is supposed to transpire. So as far as high beta tech, it was good to see it wake up today. And we said this morning to not be overly trading Netflix, because the day of earnings, it could be very noisy. And Netflix did absolutely nothing. It gapped up, and there really was not much to do. Okay, what you want to see now is you want to see a bit of sideways digestion, above this huge gap. And then at some point, maybe there's a more calculated trade. I think some guys made money long, some short here. You look at the 5-day chart, and it was just a big mess. Okay, where first move was lower. So if you took that, great. If you bought here, and then you tried to buy a high here, it came in again, and it was a whole lot of nothing. So usually after a huge consolidation like this, maybe you get another day, and then you get a calculated trade. So, with that said, there it is. Baba, look at that move. 3 days. We finally got the 3 days, but we've had these 3 days before. Last time you had this move here. It was very clean. It was above the 8 and 21 day. Gave you lots of adjustment areas before topping out right there. And now, you have this downtrend, right? Coming right into it, right into this descending channel here. You had your calculated red dog reversal on Friday with the market. You had your strong day yesterday within that, the relative strength that we pointed out. And then today you had your follow through. We've seen these type of 3-day moves that failed. Choppier move failed. This one was a little bit more potent. Okay, so I would love to see a little sideways action above this area, and then be able to get a juicier trade through here, because I don't like buying on the 4th day, or I'm usually not long for a 4th day, but it looks like it could happen. If it just continues to go right up, it'll be unfortunate, because some of us will miss it. But this 3-day move puts it back on the map. And remember, we had this choppy move to the upside that we trailed, and then all of a sudden, boom, you had your nice entry, and then you just had to stay with it, because when it's streaky, it's streaky. So I guess if it does break above this tomorrow, I'll have to figure out whether I'll get back into it, because I was in it yesterday and I sold it today, and now I'm flatted overnight. So we'll see. Apple wasn't as powerful. I actually am still in this one, where I traded it. I got stopped out of it. I made some money here and there. I'm in it just because I feel like I needed some kind of exposure overnight just in case, and that if this happens to, the market doesn't like what the ECB does, maybe, it'll be a flight to quality type trade. So anyway, I'm in small Apple. I was, in yesterday into today. That was a nice trade, and now I'm a little bit smaller. Also, yesterday we talked about the divergence, that oil was lower, and the XLEs didn't go down, either did the OAHs. So was in XLE for majority of the day, but I actually sold some. Or actually, I guess I sold them all. I probably should have stayed in some, but from the red dog reversal down here, if you happen to be in it at 72.88 and you put your stop in at the low, you're trimming, you're in a nice move that a lot of people have not been able to catch, but this setup lets you do it. And then I guess we'll see what happens tomorrow. OAHs, it feels like it just rallied a ton, but look where it is. What I wouldn't do is I wouldn't just blindly start shorting it. This is when the trend broke. This is when it lost a 200-day. All it is down here. So there's a heck of a lot of room to maybe, the 21-day, and then who knows, maybe even higher at some point. So whatever you do, just don't start shorting it. If you want to be in it and trail it, that's probably better. Or if you want to, I don't even know what's the terms. Just stay, like, be, if you, I could talk today. If you're in it still from here, stay with it. Sometimes you can trim and trail your way out of a good position that just keeps going. And this one still has room too. What I am in, which is not like me, I'm in this Russia trade. For some reason, my gut keeps telling me to be in Russia here, and kind of broke this wedge to, actually no, it's right there, to the upside, or it's trying. It's been so battered and bruised. Their stock market was down friggin' a ton. So down here, they have a big meeting tonight. If it doesn't go well, I guess I'll be, down tomorrow. But if it does go well, I feel like it could be back to this, 1650 pretty quick. We had a decent trade here when it capitulated lower, and it's been wedging since. And we shall see if it, if the outcome doesn't turn out the way I want it. It'll break below this, and I'll lose some money, and I'll get stopped out. But I'm in the Russia trade, and we'll see what happens. Close strong. Some oil companies are bouncing. Oil seems like it's bouncing a little bit. The USOs kind of held where they had to. Still, from where they broke all the way down in this lower range. Everyone's saying, "Oh my God, look at the size of the bounce in oil," but still, really nowhere. It's just kind of wedging and just didn't make a new bottom here. So we'll see what's next there. Amazon was an interesting trade today. You had news out that Icon might be taking a stake. I think some guys made some quick money when they bought above 295. Went as high as 305-ish, and then I got to give Flo some props. He's like, this is, I can't see it happening. There's no way he's involved. He started shorting like 300, and then boom, you had to move right down. And at this point, it's still in a downtrend. It's below the moving average. It's not very compelling, but maybe it inches up a little bit more. Google did have news that it's it's having a direct sale of its handset using some wireless carriers, et cetera, et cetera. Closed relatively strong. Might have some room up to this 530 if the market lets us. So if you're in it, okay, see how it handles this downtrend. It's acting a tiny bit better. Tesla, some guys made some money as it went into the gap, but still in a big time downtrend and below all the moving averages. So maybe this is a pivot low and it can go a little higher, but just be careful. Same way with this Gopro. Everyone was talking about it all morning, and they got me in it. This is when Gopro was awesome. This is when it broke out. It followed the 8-day the entire time, gave you another tight pattern consolidation breakout. Here's when that trend broke, and then since then it's been a monotonous mess. I remember taking it though long here, okay, and it gave you a nice little 4-day snapback. So, thinking perhaps, I guess maybe something similar, just for an oversold bounce. Maybe some shorts are a little nervous that their earnings are going to be good because of the holiday season and it's been trash. So perhaps it can get back to this 55. Last time it went through the 21-day a little bit. That would be up here. Not expecting that, but one day maybe leading into one more. So it's it's one of those treasures for trash trade. If someone's still in it, it's in their trash bin. If you happen to get away from it when a lot of these trends broke, and they did break, Broke right here when it broke the 8 and 21 day. I think this is when they announced the secondary and it really broke. So down here, maybe it's worth a little try. Sprint, I don't know. They came out with the news. The stock's been so battered and bruised. I remember way back when we had a good trade. So all of a sudden, I saw some volume and I saw it come in. And if you go basic studies volume, it woke up and I'm like, maybe it's a day one. And so I bought Sprint for the first time, and I don't know how long, and I'm in it, and we'll see what happens. Maybe there's a little bit of follow through tomorrow. It broke down from here. Where was that? That was a 467. So maybe there's a little bit of a trade there. The banks didn't make new lows, so I guess that is a positive for the banks ever since breaking this upper flag here. Remember that? Banks looked awesome. I was in it from here, went up, flagging. I was in a lot of the banks there, and then this day happened. When an engulfing bar happens in the upper end of a range, I reduce risk. I don't remember if I was all out there, but I definitely reduced, and I would have been all out probably into there, because what we lose, the 8 and 21 day, no longer above it. And if you did that, you weren't in for this entire mess. And now here it's trying to build a pivot above the 200 day. Perhaps there's a little bit more room. I actually went back to my comfort level bank, which is Bank of America, and it's really nothing to write home about, but I'm thinking that maybe some of these lower areas resolve to the upside. If it doesn't and it goes lower, chances are, market's going to resolve lower anyway. So to have something on this, I feel a little bit okay about, considering where it came from. It's just a trade. It's below the 200 days, below every moving average. It's no longer a trend, and this broke just like everything else. Goldman Sachs, put a small red dog reversal, but it also is below the 200 day. Remember the rule: if it doesn't reclaim the 200 day in 3 or 4 sessions, chances are it's really weak and it's going to head lower. So we'll see what happens here in the next day or so. That's really it. Tomorrow's a big day. There are people who are scared to be short. There are people scared to be long. Unless you have a full-fledged thesis, I would be light on both sides. All day long they're talking about how the Dow is 200-point ranges, so that means there's more than enough opportunity if you come in with low risk meaning low gross, low net, where you're not taking huge size to get yourself in trouble, where if you're long and we're down 200 handles, you're ruining your month. Or if you're short and we're up 200, not 200 handles, like 200 Dow points or 20 handles. I don't want to sound like an idiot. So whatever you're doing, make sure you have a plan and you're not doing too much. I obviously leaned to the long side, but I'm not in that much size, and I feel I'm in some things that I could salvage, and if I can't, I'm okay with. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. 7:30 is the headlines, 8:30 is the conference. Get some rest, and we'll see how it oil balls down. Hopefully you had a good day. Hopefully your January started the right way. It's been a little volatile, but there's been action, there's been movement, and hopefully you're benefiting from it. Have a great night.